We're standing in front of the Beverly Hills Fire Department on September the 11th, 2021, and they just had a big ceremony here. Would you tell us why you came and what you saw?
Well, of course, 9/11. That's always in our heart. And Beverly Hills does a beautiful, beautiful ceremony every year on 9/11.
Yes.
So we had the police all dressed, of course, in their wonderful uniforms as they marched in. The firemen, we had a beautiful choir that sang speeches that were from the city and plaques that were given to certain people. And we do have this wonderful, huge piece that is part of the World Trade Center that was, it's right over here.
In the park behind, were you sitting there?
Yes, where I was sitting. And it's quite large. And we received this through a lot of negotiations about 2013, I believe. And so that always adds a certain ambience,
Yes.
to the whole ceremony.
Yes.
And the police were around it, and the fire chiefs, and so very heartfelt, very heartfelt. We had helicopters that were circling all around our area here by the fire department. That's where it's held, here at the fire department.
What was that to show, or was it? Was there a function? Was it part of the ceremony?
Yes.
What did they do?
The helicopters, they just circled around. They circled around, and it was wonderful. It was protection, and it also was. It went along with the whole scene of the what we were putting on. So everyone here afterwards, we congregated, we talked. Some people, did have friends, relatives that were in the buildings, and of course, it was pretty hard. But it's a wonderful tribute. I hope that everyone always remembers this. And I almost was working at the World Trade Center at the time.
Is that right?
Yes, and my plans were changed, and I didn't go. So, but yes, that was
good fortune.
Good fortune there. Yes.
Yeah. If there was ever anything good to come out of not working.
Exactly. So after, of course, what happened, I just thanked God and my lucky stars, that I wasn't there. But of course, everybody will remember it, I hope, and we'll follow through. We're strong Americans, and we can do it.
Well, when you say remember it, well, what's the lesson that you think ought to be remembered that isn't being covered on the mainstream media? Is there an aspect to it that you feel is being lost after 20 years?
Well, I hope that they, in the schools today, I know they're taking out a lot of things, and I have grandkids, and I know that they're taking out a lot of the history, and I hope that they do not take out this. I hope they keep this in there so that the young people can know about it and hear about it, right, and find out how it happened and what was behind it. And so I think all of that would be a great education.
How about the element of why it happened? How well do you feel that education is addressing that issue, or the mainstream media in any of the documentaries?
I've been hearing all different I was listening to it all morning, and I heard this and that, with the FBI and the CIA, and evidently there were problems that were coming about, and maybe we should have been more prepared. That's what they were saying.
What about the motives of the jihadists who attacked? Where have you heard that addressed, or is that something that you would rely on the schools to teach?
Well, I think probably the schools, they might be more informed than maybe even the parents. I'm not sure about that. But I just hope that it is taught and shown, and what happened, and, school excursions there. And I myself am still, as many times as I've been to New York, it's very hard for me to, I haven't been there since it happened. I've been to New York, but I just couldn't, I remember the windows on the world, the very top where we used to have dinner, which was such a beautiful restaurant. And in fact, I just spoke with a lady whose brother worked at Windows on the World. And of course, that happened.
How do you feel about the understanding of the war in Afghanistan and the refugees or unvetted refugees that they're bringing in now that might be holding jihadist sentiments?
I haven't really kept up with it. I haven't really kept up with it that much, but I just feel that I hope that it's settled so that these wonderful people can come back home. I'm not sure exactly what's going on over there. So
you mean the Americans who were stranded there?
Yes. Oh, yes. And there's some that are in prison, I'm sure, that are there. And how long have they been there? Who knows? So I think that's one of the reasons we had the helicopter, circling, hopefully that nothing would happen, today.
As an actress in Hollywood, is there a liberal taboo, or shall I say expectation, that an actor wouldn't want to be known as countering the liberal orthodoxy?
Well, I think there's a lot of liberals in the acting field. I'm not one. Probably lose jobs now.
Well, that's the question.
Yeah. So I think, you can't go along with everyone else. I think, you have to go with your own feelings, and but yes, there's a lot of liberals in the business.
Of course there are liberals, but are they liberally minded to a diversity of ideas and ideology and political views?
Oh, yes.
They are?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Not that they are very strong with them, but I think that they are. Some are stronger, some are weaker, but
your reflex reaction was that I might lose jobs for saying that I'm not liberal.
I think so. I think so. I think they're very careful, that's kind of sad, I think.
Like a reverse McCarthyism?
Possibly, and everybody needs work,
Yeah.
And the acting profession is very, you never know. So I think...
Oh, you never know what?
You never know when you're working,
Oh, right.
A lot of times you don't know.
Right.
Unless you get a gig or a movie that keeps going and going and,
Right.
So consequently, yeah, unfortunately, I think it's a little tough call,
Do you think actors, writers, and people who need to get hired in Hollywood sometimes self-censor what they say publicly or what they write, what they comment, for example, in social media, that it might be used against them?
Possibly.